Democrat leadership announces no deal as officials bicker over illegal immigrant claims before the government shutdown on Wednesday. Officials in Portland, Oregon, and Chicago, Illinois defy federal law enforcement amid violence against ICE as Louisiana's governor asked for the National Guard. And President Trump and Israel Prime Minister Netanyahu hold a press conference on plans to end the Gaza war. I'm Tony Kinnett, host of the Daily Signal's Tony Kinnett Cast, syndicated nationally at 7 p.m. Eastern. It is Tuesday, September 30th, 2025. This is the Daily Signal's top news in 10. With the government shutdown looming on Wednesday, Hakeem Jeffries, the minority leader in the House, and Chuck Schumer, the minority leader in the Senate, addressed the press and public after a failed meeting with Republicans.
President, for the first time since all of these issues started, even though we have requested repeated meetings with Leader Thune, Speaker Johnson, and the President, we have very large differences on health care and on their ability to undo whatever budget we agree to through rescissions and through impoundment, as well as pocket rescissions. And I think for the first time, the President heard our objections and heard why we needed a bipartisan bill. Their bill has not one iota of Democratic input. That is never how we've done this before. When I was leader, we negotiated 4 times with Republicans, and we never had a shutdown. And so it's up to the Republicans whether they want to shut down or not.
House Speaker Mike Johnson announced that the reason there was no possible deal ahead was because of Democrats' demands that illegal immigrant funding for health care be included in the clean rescission package, which wouldn't leave it very clean.
Now, there's a reason that Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries have come out here, stomped the feet, saying that they can't go along with this. They're trying to bring in extraneous issues. They issued a counter proposal. You should go take a look at what they requested. $1.5 trillion in new spending that is unrelated to the ongoing appropriations process. They wanted to, as you said, restore taxpayer-funded benefits, okay? Hardworking taxpayers in America. They want to take your funds and give that for benefits to illegal aliens. They want to restore that because we got rid of it. They want to prop up left-leaning media outlets. $500 million they threw in on top of that. $1.5 trillion on a 7-week stopgap funding measure. We're not going to do that. They know we can't do that, and we never have in the past. During the Biden administration, there were 13 threatened shutdowns. The Republicans in the minority did the right thing. We kept the government open. We're simply asking for the Democrats to do the same. Again, I want to thank President Trump for the strong, solid leadership. He listened to the arguments, and they just wouldn't acknowledge the simple facts. I want to thank Vice President here for showing his leadership as well. If the Democrats make the decision to shut the government down, the consequences are on them, and I think it's absolutely tragic. We've never said that was a good idea. We never believed it is. And I want you to remember, when we voted in the House, we passed it out of the House. The House has done its job. We did that almost 2 weeks ago. Every Democrat in the House except one voted to shut the government down. That is the record. And don't forget it.
House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries pushed back on this, claiming that Democrats know it is against federal law to give illegal immigrants taxpayer money through health care, and that there were no Democrats that would suggest breaking federal law.
Federal law prohibits the expenditure of taxpayer dollars on providing health care to undocumented immigrants. Nowhere have Democrats suggested that we're interested in changing federal law.
According to multiple outlets, however, like the Chicago Tribune, there has been prior information regarding states giving money that was allotted to them through the federal government for illegal immigrant health care and funds heading to illegal immigrants that would then be replaced by federal dollars later. The July article from the Chicago Tribune cites states like Minnesota, California, and Illinois, among others, as sending money to illegal immigrants through their healthcare systems. Finally, Vice President J.D. Vance outlined the general feeling of the Trump administration regarding the shutdown pushed by Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer.
Americans are struggling to pay their health care bills. That was their initial foray into this negotiation. We thought it was absurd. We told them it was absurd, and now they come in here saying that if you don't give us everything that we want, we're going to shut down the government. We think that's preposterous. We think it's totally unacceptable, and we think the American people are going to suffer because these guys won't do the right thing. Now, I want to make one final point here. You will hear a lot from Senate Democrats, from House Democrats about the fact that American healthcare policy is broken. Well, we know that American healthcare policy is broken. We've been trying to fix it for the 8 months that we've been in office, but every single thing that they accuse about being broken about American healthcare is policy the Democrats have supported for the past decade. So if they want to talk about how to fix American healthcare policy, let's do it. The Speaker would love to do it. The Senate Majority Leader would love to do it. Let's work on it together, but let's do it in the context of an open government that's providing essential services to the American people. That's all that we're proposing to do, and the fact that they refuse to do that shows how unreasonable their position is. I think we're headed to a shutdown because the Democrats won't do the right thing.
And while the mayor of Portland, Oregon is very upset that 200 National Guardsmen are being deployed to ICE facilities in the city,
the number of necessary troops is 0 in Portland and any other American city. And let me repeat that. This is an American city. We do not need any intervention. This is not a military target.
And Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is also rather upset about federal law enforcement in Illinois and Chicago in general.
Have nothing to do with making our city safer. My question to these masked, heavily armed individuals is simple. What could you possibly need an automatic weapon for? The only plausible explanation is that their aim is not to carry out their duties, but instead strike fear in our communities. If you are following the law, if you are in accordance with the Constitution, if you have a criminal warrant, then there is no reason to cover your face.
Louisiana's governor went on Fox News to ask for President Trump to send the National Guard as soon as possible.
Let me say this. President Trump has amassed the best cabinet of public servants and folks who really want to fight crime, like General Bondi, Secretary Noem, FBI Director Kash Patel. These folks know how to keep Americans safe. And you know what? Tonight, we're sending the Department of War a request to send the National Guard, asking them to deploy the National Guard here in Louisiana into our cities like New Orleans and Baton Rouge and others, so we can continue to reduce the amount of violence on our streets. Why would you not want your citizens to be safe?
And lastly, President Trump and Israel Prime Minister Netanyahu met yesterday to hold a joint press conference on plans to end the Gaza war and outline a phone call, a trilateral phone call between leadership from the United States, the Israeli government, and the government of Qatar regarding a prior Israeli strike in Doha attempting to target Hamas leadership earlier last month.
Mr. President, first I want to thank you for graciously hosting me once again in the White House. And second, I want to thank you for your friendship and for your leadership. From Jerusalem to Tehran, from the Golan Heights to Gaza, you've proven time and again what I've said many times. You are the greatest friend that Israel has ever had in the White House. And Mr. President, you and I both know it's not even close. While you focus at home on making America great again, your leadership abroad is changing the world for the better, ending wars and advancing peace. I believe that today we're taking a critical step towards both ending the war in Gaza and setting the stage for dramatically advancing peace in the Middle East, and I think beyond the Middle East, in very important Muslim countries. I support your plan to end the war in Gaza, which achieves our war aims. It will bring back to Israel all our hostages, dismantle Hamas's military capabilities, end its political rule, and ensure that Gaza never again poses a threat to Israel.
The president also outlined plans for a potential peace agreement and strategy to withdraw from the Israel-Gaza border and bring about a hopeful plan for peace in the Middle East.
But if Hamas rejects your plan, Mr. President, or if they supposedly accept it and then basically do everything to counter it, then Israel will finish the job by itself. This can be done the easy way, or it can be done the hard way.
Before you go, head down to the description and make sure you're subscribed to the Tony Kinnett Cast. And join us tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, where we dig into a roundup of the day's news and nonsense. I'm Tony Kinnett, and this has been the Daily Signal's top news in 10. Take care.